Hey all, this is Andy from Tennis with Andy. So I'm sitting right here at my store, Icon Tennis and Pickleball, and I'm going to talk about our top 5 rackets to play with. This is very subjective. These are my top 5 rackets. Maybe they're yours too, but I highly doubt it. All right, I have not gone through this beforehand. I know what 5 rackets that are here, and I'm just going to go in order of how I feel. So number 5, we have the Wilson Shift 99. Absolutely love this racket. I think it's like in stock form is so much fun to play with. I'm just blasting forehands, thinking I'm Stanislav Wawrinka, killing my one-handed backhand. Really fun racket to play with. I feel like I can't really miss a serve with this. Like topspin comes easy. I'm getting pretty good pace on the flat ones. The bit difficulty that I have with this is I've never figured out the right customization for this. Like when you add in weight, it really changes how it plays. And my two-hander is a bit weaker with this racket unless I add a bunch of weight at 3 or 9 to bump up the swing weight. But yeah, it's a solid frame. And actually the Shift Lite is my best selling frame in the store. So it's probably one I recommend to a lot of aspiring juniors, and definitely have them demo. So that's number 5, the Shift. All right, number 4. Ooh, so many choices. What shall it be? So number 4, I would have to go with the Pure Aero 98. Very fun racket, and I just if you think about a racket, if you're trying to build a racket for me, this would not be it. But with this racket, I just happen to win. I happen to win a lot when I play with this. It gives you good spin, right? And it's easy. You just kind of let the racket do the work. I've weighted this one up. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, but I weighted it to about 332 swing weight. So I hit some weight underneath the bumper guard, and then I added, what was it, maybe 4 or 5 grams to handle. So it's about 315 static weight now. So really easy, really good stability. What surprised me is like the volleys on this were so awesome, and serves, like I love, this is my favorite racket in terms of results to serve with. So definitely would keep this in my bag at all times. I didn't really feel super confident on the forehand. I felt, let me rephrase it, I felt good on sort of rally, loopy forehands, but I didn't feel as good going for my flatter shots. So I think that's just mainly me and my janky forehand swing. But I think there's also something with the aero design that kind of wants you to whip up with this one. Feels really good on the two-handed backhand. Feels awkward on the one-hander. But two-hander feels really, really good. I'm getting really good topspin with the two-hander and the backhand and also the forehand. So number 4, the Pure Aero 98, I think it really benefits from weight at the tip and at the base. So number 3, my favorite racket to play with, and I would have to go with the Slinko Whiteout 1820. And I like this because it's probably my best racket in terms of overall results. It lets me just kind of swing, right? I go for like everything. Like I'm going for my backhand a lot. I'm going for my forehand a lot, and it's such tight control, especially on kick serve as well. I feel like it doesn't give you inherently a lot of spin, but like the fact that you can swing as hard as you want, and the ball is the harder you swing, like the better. I'm getting like tons of kick and just really good directional control on the kick serve. Flat serves feel quite good as well too. Overall, a very solid racket. I think I added a little bit of weight at 10 and 2. I may have added some in the handle, but not too much. But number 3, the Slinko Whiteout 1820. Don't go crazy with putting in very stiff strings in here. The racket's already stiff enough, so I have in here RPM power. And so number 2, racket that's favorite to play with, it'd have to be my Head Radical MP, the 2023. And I have this strong, like all my head rackets, like the Extreme or the Radical, like they perform really well with Grapple Snake Tour M8. And this, even just in stock form or just adding just a touch of weight in the head, I get like tons of spin. And it just feels, I feel like if I knew how to play like the modern tennis game, like with lots of top spin and just kind of going after every shot, this would be the racket for me. I know that when I coach and when I'm giving clinics, I love hitting with this because it's just, I'm getting like easy spin. And I feel like, I don't know, there's just something about it that just makes you feel good. I can't really put it into words, but it's one that's, it's fun racket to swing. And every time I look at it, I'm just like, maybe I should switch back to it. But yeah, fun rackets to swing, great on my two-hander. Absolutely love this on my two-hander. Forehand is erratic. My forehand is, in general, erratic, so I kind of need a racket that sort of helps me out with it. And this one, at least in stock form, doesn't. It's hard to predict it. So like, I felt like I have to go for a top spin a lot of the times, and sometimes the ball would kind of launch on me. But if I were able to really dial that shot in, this racket would be up there. Serves, between this and the Pure Aero 98 are my favorite rackets to serve with. I think the feeling on serve on this is probably the best, but the results with the Pure Aero 98 are probably even better. So, love my Head Radical, and that's my number 2. And number 1, it's kind of a little bit of a cheat, but the RF Pro, RF01 Pro. So this racket I would say it's my favorite racket to play with, and also my racket line of the year. And here are my reasons. If you look at the reviews of this racket, like if you look at the reviews of this, like it almost seems like people have been offended that Wilson and Federer released a racket like this. I've heard some really bad stuff, like that it's all marketing, it's all like this racket doesn't perform well, that it's like it's a gimmick, etc., etc. And like what I'd say is, if you're thinking about picking up a racket and the racket doing all the work for you, moving your feet, preparing, then no racket's gonna help you. I mean, the reality is that I could play with any of the rackets on this wall over here, on my racket wall, or any of these 5 rackets. But this one is very raw. I feel like the RF Pro is very raw. And it doesn't have a lot of forgiveness, and the ball plows through very well. So if you strike it just right, it's just gonna go, right? And so for that, like, everything about this to me screams controlled power, controlled aggression, and that if you don't hit the ball right, the racket will let you know, right? And so you gotta be able to hit the ball squarely. You have to move your feet, prep well, especially on the forehand, because the one thing that I found with this racket is, if you're prepping well on your forehand, and if you're making smooth contact on in front, you're gonna get a good shot. But the racket feels, how do I put this? It feels heavy to start, right? But it feels fast once you start swinging it. So and the swing weight isn't crazy too. Like, I think in stock form is 324, and I've weighted this up right now, so it's about 328 in terms of swing weight. So I definitely played with rackets that are much heavier in terms of swing weight, but it definitely feels beefier than the swing weight states. Now, I said this is a line of the year because it's highly customizable, and I think that when Wilson and Roger, they're saying they have three lines that are three rackets that are so everybody could play with a Federer racket, right? I'm not sure whether they had this in mind. I actually think that the three rackets, that everybody can play with them because they are highly customizable. And for that reason, like, if you're somebody like me who sort of likes that 315 to 320 spec, I really like the RF Pro or the the regular RF1. But for example, for my wife who was looking for something around 300 grams, 318 swing weight, I enjoy the Future because I could customize it just to her spec. So it was gonna play different than what she was used to, but like the fact that it's so raw, like lets you do what you need to do. So I added weight to the tip, right? Added 8 grams to the tip for the RF Future. Added replacement grip or shrink wrap, like 15 grams. So to build it up to about 302 grams static, and then 318 swing weight. Playing really well with it, and like it enhances her game, which is a heavy spin game and good use of the slice and good stability for volleys. And for me, for example, I've gone between playing with this and like replacing the synthetic or leather grip with the synthetic. I've gone from adding weight to 3 and 9 to adding weight at 12, and each does something different. I could say that using the synthetic grip and weighing this up to be about 315 grams, 317 static, with a little bit of weight at 12, that's probably how I play the best tennis with this racket. But in terms of complete enjoyment, nothing replaces the leather. You got to put that leather on there, and then depends on your taste, add maybe a touch of weight at 12 or a touch of weight at 3 and 9. For this iteration, I had 3 grams here at 3 and 9, and then also another 4 grams in the handle. So this is a fun stick. Choose your string appropriately. Right now I have Confidential in at 48 pounds and 45, 17 gauge. I'm thinking of doing a hybrid because I appreciate a little bit more forgiveness and a little bit more touch. So I'm thinking of doing a hybrid with a Grapple Snake Tourmate and NXT. So yeah, that's it. Those are my top 5 rackets to play with. Let me know if these fall within your top 5 as well. Let me know if you have comments or suggestions, and if I inadvertently didn't include a manufacturer. But these are my top 5 for now, and thanks for listening and watching. This is Andy from Tennis with Andy. Play smart and see results.